Yeah, I'll ping them right now. Thank you.
Good morning. From
Good
Breckenridge,
morning.
Colorado. Morning, Councilmember Sundberg.
Hello, sir.
Let's see, I think we're shout out to Alison too to see. Try to send another notice.
Lauren, where is Sasaki in the agenda?
They are set to be first,
First, okay.
and then after is Aaron's team. Sorry, Brian, and then last Aaron's team.
Okay. Oh, they're on. They're getting on.
Yeah, I see 2 already.
Ryan, let us know when you've got when they're all on, and then we'll have more.
Sounds good. It looks like we're still missing Margaret and Anna.
I see Margaret.
All right, it looks like Anna just joined us as well, so it looks like the whole team is here.
Great. And I see Laura, and I think we're still waiting on Alison, Councilmember Coombs. Right? Have you? Let's see.
Correct. Yeah, I've shot her email and a text. Hopefully she'll catch one of those and do that. You've got everybody staff wise?
We do.
All right. Well, we can go ahead and start. Like I said, I want to be respectful of your time and everything else. So I'm going to call the meeting for the Parks Foundation and Quality of Life Policy Committee. And we need to look at the approval of minutes. Councilmember Sundberg.
I move to approve the minutes.
Right. I do as well. And so those will move forward. Next thing is any announcements from staff or committee?
No, I have no announcements.
Anyone else? All right, seeing none, we'll go to the agenda items. Number 4A, engagement roadmap, pro system-wide master plan.
And Ryan, do you want to introduce the Sasaki team?
Absolutely. Thanks for having us here this morning. So joining us this morning is our team from Sasaki. I'll let them introduce themselves, but this is a consultant team working with us on the Pro System Master Plan, alongside with a few other sub-consultants. Joining us today or presenting today will be Anna Cross and Margaret. Margaret, I'm sorry, I forget your last name. I don't have it written down here, but I'll let Anna take over and introduce the rest of the team that's here today and start their presentation. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. My name is Anna Kors. Can you all hear me okay? Okay, excellent. Sorry about that. I had a little bit of trouble getting on. Thank you, Ryan. As you mentioned, I'm Anna Kors. I am a principal and the director of Sasaki Denver's office. I'm also a landscape architect out here. And we're really excited to go over where we are right now in the process and then have time to answer questions at the end. So if you want to go to the next page or next slide. Can keep going. So first of all, just looking at the plan focus areas, and these really were included in the RFP and are going to be checks as we go through the plan to ensure that we're constantly thinking about equitable access, community connections, operational efficiencies, sustainable growth, and health and safety, with the plan relating back to these as we get to the final deliverable. Go to the next slide. The team again, myself, Anna Elaine, a senior project manager and planner, Margaret, which is our engagement lead, and then Carrie Latimer as the planner, and all of us are on the call today. We're also joined by Epley out of the Indiana Institute. They will really be focusing on operations and maintenance, looking at recreation programming and accessibility. GLP is real estate, land use, and economic development. And then Pinion, who's here locally, looking at environmental resiliency and also helping with engagement. Next slide. So the project schedule really is broken down into 4 phases. Right now, we're really in the discovery phase, getting into inventory and conditions analysis, and we'll be going into the public launch. Really, at the end of this, we want to understand what are the existing conditions to really launch us into phase 2, which will be developing guiding principles and really coming up with a tool that will help us look at a gap analysis to move us into phase 3, which is refining ideals, really developing that equity tool, and then phase 4, which is the final confirmation and final documentation. And go to the next slide. And so I will turn it over to Margaret to talk about what we're doing in phase 1 for engagement.
Anna, can go to the next slide. So to start, I think we just wanted to first acknowledge our internal structure and the fact that we've established sort of several groups to help really guide and inform the process. So starting with the pros management team, really this will be a group consisting of department managers that's designed to provide sort of detailed feedback and insight on the plan and its overall process. We have the steering committee, which is a group representing really multiple city departments that we're meeting with on a monthly basis. And they're really charged with making sure that the plan is aligned both externally and internally with the city's future goals and mission. We've also established several working groups. These are really of subject matter experts around the topics you see listed here. These groups will really be engaged throughout the process, more on an ad hoc basis. We'll also be engaging other internal stakeholders, really representing other city departments, such as housing and community services, communications and marketing, planning and development, in the city manager's office. Next slide. So thinking a little bit about external partners, we've started to develop a list, really potential groups and organizations that could help us expand our reach with this project. And here you just see a snapshot of some of those groups that we've started to think about, really focusing on 4 different aspects of the community, including immigrant and refugee populations, arts and culture, education and commerce, and homelessness and public safety. Next slide. So one aspect of the overall engagement strategy we wanted to highlight is really our language inclusivity approach. So of course, recognizing that 1 in 5 residents really within the city has immigrated from outside to the US, to Aurora. We really want to be intentional in creating a parallel and inclusive engagement experience really for all populations. So to do that, we will be translating really all written, both digital and physical and printed material, and providing translation services at the public open houses, really in the top most common languages spoken in Aurora, you see identified here. We should note that our team has looked back at several city planning documents, the comp plan, language access plan, and immigration integration plan to really get a sense of what these top languages are. And we'll also be able to provide sort of additional translation in the languages you see listed below for more targeted outreach to specific populations, just depending on how needs and events come up throughout the process. Next slide. So as part of the larger outreach strategy, we will be making a targeted effort really to reach some of these populations, including older adults, youth, and immigrant and refugee populations. So we've started to identify specific strategies really for each of them, really aims to meet these groups where they are. but also collaborate with their associated commissions. So that includes the Commission of Older Adults, Youth Commission, Open Space Board, Gold Advisory Board, and Parks and Recreation Advisory Board. And we've also discussed engaging with the Arapahoe and Adams County open space boards as well. Next. So in terms of the first phase of engagement that we're starting on right now, we'll really be focusing on visioning for the future of the PROS system and also trying to capture everybody's current experiences today with the system. So if you go to the next slide, really as part of this first phase, we've developed a series of engagement values for the project together with the PROS team and others involved with public engagement with the city. And these are really meant to serve as guiding principles throughout the project duration, really sort of keep us on track as we go through each phase of engagement. Next slide. So just a quick look at the overall timing for this first phase. We have started we did start last week with internal stakeholder interviews and continuing those this week. The public launch, we are aiming for early to mid-July, and that will include, of course, the website, as well as the first survey that we're launching, aiming to leave that survey open for about 6 weeks, probably to mid-August. We'll be doing external stakeholder interviews after the public launch, so probably starting in mid-July. We'll also be identifying about 3 to 5 sort of in-person existing events happening within the city. This is what we're referring to as the engagement roadshow. So looking for specific events end of July and early August. And also be hosting sort of 2 citywide open houses towards end of July, probably early August, same time frame again. Next slide. So the first item is really the public kickoff, which will start with a sort of multilingual and interactive website where we'll really be able to introduce the project to the community and start building that momentum. So we've been in close coordination with marketing and special events and other public engagement staff to really start identifying appropriate and sort of broad-reaching sort of distribution list for the public announcement. Next slide. So as I mentioned before, stakeholder interviews will be a key component of this first phase, both internal and external. It really helps our team not only build relationships with stakeholders, but also develop a nuanced understanding really of the PROS system and its issues and opportunities. Next slide. So the engagement roadshow, like I said, this will be our team attending probably between 3 to 5 events, really spread the word about the project, seek feedback through the survey. And our team has started to identify some of these events and what they could be end of July, early August, as well as give some thought to key parks, rec centers, other commercial establishments where we could table as well and reach sort of diverse audiences. Next slide. In terms of the citywide open houses, we'll be conducting 2 really in early August with the intent to share sort of preliminary findings from our analysis as well as survey results. We've started to think about sort of potentially having 2 really distinct geographic locations for these open houses, but also knowing that we will share all material presented at these open houses in other formats after the fact, knowing that not everyone will be able to attend in person or virtually these open houses. Next slide. So lastly, I just wanted to note the future phases of engagement really for the duration of the project. Phase 2 will focus really on soliciting feedback on the draft guiding principles as well as the results from our gaps analysis. Phase 3 will focus on really refining ideas and getting feedback and reactions from the community on those. And the final phase is really about sharing the final plan recommendations with the community, seeking confirmation, and really about celebrating and promoting the plan externally. So I'll stop there. Yeah, thank you all for including us today. You can open it up for any questions.
Committee members, Councilmember Sundberg, you got any questions?
Yeah, let's see. So the overall intent here is a plan just to promote what Parks and Recreation has to offer, to all of the city, especially in a diverse way. Is that correct?
So that is correct. That is the intention of the master plan, as well as building on not only what we currently offer, but building sort of a robust idea of what folks in the community are asking for, with targeting sort of some of our smaller voices in the community and some of the populations we don't typically see in our outreach. So we're really trying to capture as many voices as we can during this outreach plan to see how we can expand on what we are currently offering within the city.
Any
This is Brooke. May
immediate
I add
ideas?
to that?
Go ahead.
Councilmember Medina, may I add to that? Sure. I'd also say that it is the foundation on which we will build a strategic plan. And from there, that will inform our priorities and our budgeting in the future and our work in the future.
Okay, so it's more of an early phase of an overall strategic plan.
Yes. Mhm.
Okay, gotcha.
Thank you. And I apologize for interrupting, but thank you.
Oh, yes, no, thank you.
Any others? Any other questions, Councilmember Sundberg?
Let's see, and then with respect to measurable effects, measuring how the success of the overall strategic plan, I guess it's too soon to really talk about that.
I would agree. I think I believe it's probably a little too early to understand sort of what some of these measurable outcomes will be. The intention is to make sure that everything is quantifiable throughout this process, so we actually have ways to continue to measure success, not only from this plan, but on the decisions moving forward.
Okay, thank you.
Other questions, Councilmember Sundberg?
No, thanks.
All right, I'll give a few here. So thinking about that, you've done these strategic plans in the past, correct?
It's been over, Ryan, help me if I'm wrong, it's been over 10 years since we've done the PROS master plan. And I can't tell you how long it's been for a strategic plan. So the PROS master plan is the first step and the strategic plan will follow.
Okay. Reason why I ask is just because I want to see if there's any comparison of what you were doing prior to what you're doing today that's different in how you're engaging. I want to just kind of get some ideas of, you're looking from the past to move forward. The other question is it possible to have this presentation at one of my town halls?
Absolutely, we can certainly arrange that.
Okay. That's one of my questions. All right. I think that's pretty much what I've got.
Thank you very much, Councilmember, and thank you, Sasaki team, for joining us this morning.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
And we'll move on to 4B, which is the comprehensive park safety and security update.
I'd like to introduce this. Brian Green will be giving this presentation. He's our acting manager over open space and natural resources. And this comes out of a question that was initiated during the fall workshop with City Council back in September of last year, where we were talking about the 2022 budget. And during those discussions, it was Councilmember Marcano who was asking if there was value in having more ranger staff on the payroll with regard to primarily concerns over the nighttime and potential crime or the crime in the city, in the parks during nighttime hours. And so our promise during that time was to come back with additional information. Let us look at it, come back with additional information. And this is really the first step of outlining the things that we've done and are currently doing and what the future might look like. So Ryan, if you could speak to this, that would be great. Thank you.
Thank you, Brooke. And
Brian,
thank you.
I'm sorry, Brian. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm the one with the B. No, thank you, council members, thank you for the opportunity to update you on what we've done so far, what we've looked into. So thank you, Brooke, for the introduction. So this is a short presentation, just to describe what we've found out, what we've learned, and what we are looking into as ways to mitigate crime in parks. So Lauren, next slide, please. So first we had some interaction with our GIS staff, as well as the Aurora Police Department's crime analyst group. And we've looked at what are the highest reported crimes, in which parks have the highest reported crime counts. And on the left of that first graphic, you can see the top parks that have the most reported crimes. So City Park, Del Mar, Utah, Center Hills, Expo, Wheel Park, Generals, Lowry, and Spencer Garrett. And beside those names are the number of crimes reported in those parks in a 12-month period that we looked at between April of 2021 and March of 2022. So that's data analyzed for 12 months, and it shows that those are our top reported crime parks. And after that, we have 100 parks, or nearly 100 parks, and it drops off dramatically after that, down to 2 or 3 per park. So we kind of wanted to focus on the highest crime. And on the right, you'll see a map that demonstrates, where those are located. So it's kind of spread out across the city. Next slide, please. And we looked at what is the percentage of the total reported crimes. What are those crimes that are being reported in parks? And 26% of those crimes reported across the park system are aggravated assaults. Another 11% were other assaults, 11% vandalism, 8% robbery of an individual, 6% motor vehicle theft, and 6% weapons violation, which is, maybe someone had someone was a person with a weapon in a park, or someone heard gunfire, that type of thing. So an important point to bring up with respect to all those crime statistics is that less than 1% of the total reported crime in Aurora occurs in parks. So less than 1%. Next slide, please. Other things we looked at were the temporal occurrence of crime in parks, wanting to really understand when is this type of activity occurring. And 69% of the reported crimes were occurring during the day, so not necessarily at night. 30% was at night. This kind of suggests that more focused patrols during daylight hours would be an effective way to move that needle, reduce the number of reported crimes in parks. We also looked at crime relative to, did the park have a parking lot, and did the parking lot have lights? 62% of the crimes reported were in parks with a parking lot with lights. 28% of the crime was in parks that don't even have a parking lot. So 10% of the crime in parks were in parks that neither had a parking lot nor lights. So often we receive requests from citizens for more lights in parks to reduce criminal activity, and we're not sure necessarily, based on the data, does that suggest that more lights may not reduce crime, or does it suggest that larger parks with parking lots just simply attract more activity, and that's where the crime is occurring? It's kind of a correlation versus a causation discussion there. Next slide, please. So moving on to what we're trying to do in 2022 to try to make a difference as soon as we possibly can. One of the concerns across our community is violence and disturbance and things that are happening in rec centers. So Moorhead Central and Del Mar Pool have begun offering shifts to off-duty police officers, 4-hour shifts during the busiest times that they program, and are offering those up for overtime for off-duty police officers to spend time in the rec centers, recognizing and responding to those security needs that we're seeing occur. And we have estimated that cost for this year, if all of the shifts were to be accepted and and staffed, to cost approximately $291,000 this year. So we're currently recruiting officers and offering those based on the off-duty desk at Aurora Police Department. We're also looking into private nighttime security patrols. We want to run this as a pilot project, a way to observe and report the activity that's happening in parks overnight. what we envision is 2 security vehicles, that have a security guard in them, similar to what we see at Aurora Mall or at our town center or at across the way, whereby this person would patrol the high crime parks. We would give them a list of parks to patrol every night, and then if they saw activity that was happening in those parks that was illegal or criminal, they would report that to APD. We expect that to cost potentially $409,000. That we are currently seeking bids in the overall security contract that's out for bid for the city, that includes the security guards that are in Aurora Municipal Center. So it's that entire contract's being bid out, and we are part of that. So next slide, please. One of the other innovative things we're looking at, possibility of putting these camera-mounted mobile security or trailer-mounted mobile security cameras. We see these in use currently at like the King Supers at Mississippi and Chambers is where this is being used currently. We are looking into what it would take to get some of these to use maybe as eyes and ears in places where we aren't able to patrol, or where we see the most activity and want to try to really understand what's going on there. This would be a camera system that would report to a monitoring company, and the monitoring company would be able to alert APD if they observe criminal activity going on. We're looking at a possible cost of $82,000 per year with that. Another gap that we feel like we've identified is that maybe we can do a better job of communicating what the park rules are. The fact that the parks are closed, at night after 11 o'clock, they're closed, so they're not open for use. So trying to update and enhance park rule signage and work on a social media campaign focused on park rules, and brand that effort. And we're working with our marketing group to come up with that effort. Next slide, please. Looking forward into the future of 2023 and maybe beyond, we are looking to propose the possibility of expanding daytime ranger park patrol, with looking at that data that show that 69% of the crime in parks is happening during the day. We would propose expanding with 5 park rangers and 3 vehicles that would provide 2 park patrols, specific ranger patrols in parks 7 days a week. And they would interact and educate and enforce rules with park users, and interact with our neighbors there and understand what's going on, and see if we can do a better job of patrolling and providing that security during the day and safety, park safety. And then another possibility would be nighttime park ranger patrol, and this will, decisions to move forward with this will be informed a lot by if we can get the pilot of the nighttime security patrol, the private security now. What are they seeing? What are they actually seeing at night? And that would help us inform and create this type of nighttime park ranger patrol program. And the costs there are about $400,000 for the daytime park ranger patrol, and about $490,000 ongoing for the nighttime park ranger patrol on an annual basis. I think, do I have one more slide, Lauren? Okay, yes, further considerations. Obviously, there's a financial impact to all of these, and pretty high costs involved. And one of the things looking forward at the daytime ranger patrols and private nighttime security operating expense can be funded by the additional revenues that are coming into the open space fund. When the census data was updated, that got us a little larger, Aurora, a little larger share of the pie from Arapahoe County and Adams County shareback money. And obviously the financial impacts of the rec fund to put the off-duty APD officers in there. They've currently requested a budget for 80 hours per week. That's what it's 80 hours per week in 2023, with possibly a general fund subsidy increase or an increase to recreation service fees to cover that. Some of the challenges we're anticipating are an ability to find and hire nighttime positions. So council members, do you have any questions about that, or anything I could maybe describe more fully?
Councilmember Sundberg, do you have any questions for him?
Let's see, not too much. I think the overall cost is pushing $2 million. Does that sound about right?
Yes.
Okay.
If we were to implement everything, yeah, all the way around.
And to get to this point, there must have been quite a few incidents, complaints, concerns regarding safety and security in our parks.
Some of the initial concerns were from council members and incidents that happened in parks. Yeah, Councilmember Marcano specifically, and Bergen as well. We had an incident at Red Tail Hawk Park that kind of pushed us forward with trying to look at any and all alternatives that might reduce crime in parks.
I see. Yeah, they should be safe havens, our parks. Thank you.
I would also add that for the overnight rangers, we're not looking at that for 2023. We really want to use the overnight security patrols to inform that decision. So that's most likely a 2024 ask for the overnight rangers. The daytime ranger patrol is a 2023 budget, potentially budget ask. With regard to the comments from council, we do occasionally get, the council requests. They do focus around Utah Park, and as Brian mentioned, Red Tail Hawk incident down there. And we do get some comments around Lowry Park as well, are the ones that come to me at mind or have come up as high as my position. I don't think it's an extraordinary, I haven't seen an extraordinary number year over year over the last few years. It seems consistent, but there are comments.
Are many of them alcohol related or just people acting crazy?
Concerned about hearing shots fired, concerned about seeing people in the park at night, concerned residents seeing people in the park at night. But I can't tell you if it's in what relation. I imagine alcohol and illegal substances are involved, I imagine.
Thank you.
Couple questions on myself. Councilmember Sundberg, are you done?
Done. Thank you.
All right. My question is just, do you know, have you, of the incidents that are happening, do you know if they're primarily adults or they're youth or are they both?
I don't know that we have that data, because the data that we have readily available to analyze is crimes that are reported to APD. So not necessarily, convictions or apprehensions or interactions with APD that have those kind of demographics. It's what we have is somebody called 911 and reported a specific crime that could have been that generated a police report that generated a police response.
Okay. Yeah, I was just curious about if it's a certain demographic or if it's both. So.
No, I don't know that we have that data.
All right. The questions? Not, thank you for the report, and we'll see what we can do moving forward.
Thank you, council members.
Thank you. On to 4C, PROS 2022 marketing overview.
And Aaron, I'm about to transfer you the presenter ability. All right, Aaron, you should be able to share.
Pretty good. Can't see you, so. All right, so I am Aaron Pulliam, and the superintendent.
Hey, Aaron, I'm not hearing you. Can you get closer to your microphone? I'm not sure why we're not hearing you. Can others hear her?
She's definitely low volume.
Yeah, she's got volume down.
Aaron, can you turn up your
How about
volume maybe?
Is this better?
Yes, much. Thank you.
Okay. So hi, everybody. I'm Aaron Pulliam. I'm the superintendent of marketing and special events in the PROS Marketing and Special Events Division. So this is our team. We're comprised of 8 individuals.
Hey, Aaron,
yeah.
I'm sorry, we're not seeing your presentation.
Really? Goodness, guys.
We're kind of seeing, yeah, okay.
See you now?
Yes, and could you go to the full screen view, please?
Yep.
Thank you. Perfect, we have it. Thank you, Erin.
That's embarrassing for the marketing group, sorry. So hey everybody, I'm Erin Pulliam. I'm the Superintendent of Marketing and Special Events. We've already went over that. So our team is comprised of 8 individuals. We have a couple of marketing coordinators, a community engagement coordinator, event coordinator, and our volunteer and permitting coordinator. So we are responsible for marketing, communications, advertising, special events, volunteers, and temporary use permits for the pros department overall. So just a quick snapshot. So again, we have the e-newsletter. We work with the city communications department along with other like the graphics and water and public safety and everybody to get our word out as much as possible. We work with Aurora TV, paid advertising when we have budget and things like that as well, again, to get out our message. We are also trained public information officers for the division and for the department as well. So we assist anytime there's an activation of the Emergency Operations Center, or most notably during COVID, there's the activation of the Joint Information Center. So we're obviously well aware that miscommunication can be detrimental to our messaging and to our efforts. And so we are always trying to keep the community aware of all of our activities and everything kind of just going on. So these are some of our most recent graphics that we have for social media. Whenever we have, for instance, snow alert or construction, volunteer, XYZ. We're also responsible for certain partnerships and sponsorships as it relates to the department. Some of those include our special events. So we do produce the larger city annual special events. Coming up next is the 4th of July. And then also some of the signage out at the Aurora Sports Park, such as we have a 2-year partnership with UC Health. So you can kind of see the corner flags on the soccer fields there, along with some other signage that include dry dock. And then also to the right is the Arapahoe County Fairgrounds and Event Center as well. And then also our golf division, we do some partnerships and sponsorships with them. Social media, so the pros department has 2 verified social media accounts, verified being the keyword there, Facebook and Instagram. So for Facebook, we have about almost 18,000, 17,600 or so followers. Our Instagram is a little lower at 3,100. And then golf also has a Facebook and a Twitter as well. So different impressions there from January 21st through May of 2022 were about almost 1.1 million impressions for Facebook, and then 220,000 for Instagram. Golf, Facebook, and Twitter are again about 500,000 there as well. Some of the different campaigns that we like to do on social media, again, keeping our content relevant and engaging. We've enacted Team Tuesday, hashtag Team Tuesday. As we know, we are always trying to staff, whether that's seasonal or full-time employees. So one of our taglines most recently has been the work where you play. Obviously, just kind of play on words there. And so we feature different opportunities to apply for different positions within our department. And so again, those range from all divisions. So recreation, you see right there, forestry, parks O&M, and even our Osner division as well. Recently, so CPRA is the Colorado Parks and Recreation Association, and it's our statewide association. And recently, they had an employee feature video. So it was a statewide video, and it actually featured some of our pro staff members. So Bailey right there is from aquatics, and then Kristen is actually an Osner. You probably recognize Kristen. She's been in a lot of our videos. She's a great naturalist. So that was really great and engaging, and just some great impressions for getting the pros and the City of Aurora name out there statewide to the association. Another feature we've been working with Aurora TV most notably is our day in the life. So again, what exactly does an arborist do? What exactly does a lifeguard do? What about our park rangers? A lot of people don't know fully what their responsibilities are. So We started to stay in the life series, and these are the 3 that we've done thus far. So again, our arborists, and you can kind of see some different impressions there, and then our lifeguards, and then also our park rangers, which I believe was shared with you all as well, but that one just recently was aired and was also a great feature. You can kind of see at the top, that's Chelsea with Aurora TV there. Lifeguards. So we've done a robust campaign for hiring lifeguards, as we're all aware. And so different ones this year, because again, you got to keep it fresh every year. We did some Google ads, press releases, e-newsletter, job fairs. APS puts out a peach jar. It's a publication that goes out to all APS parents and guardians. So it's really a great platform and outlet to spread the word to the masses. So these are a couple of the different graphics that we use. And then you can also see in the inset there, we did some cardboard cutouts. So this lifeguard is about 5'7", and so we have these kind of spread across throughout libraries within the city, and then also some of our rec centers and even Utah Pool. The pros department has 2 e-newsletters. So there's one for golf, and then there's one for pros. Oh, sorry, and then there's one for volunteers. So our staff is responsible for designing and distributing these. They go out, the pros one goes out twice a month, and then the golf and the volunteers go out monthly. So again, you can kind of see we have about 8,000 subscribers for pros and about a 37% open rate average. That's actually pretty substantial. The industry average for e-newsletters kind of hovers about 15 to 20%. And then golf has over 23,000 followers, and again, a substantial average open rate of almost 43%. Our division is the sole kind of caretakers of the auroragov.org website. We have plenty of website contributors that also help us out from all the other divisions. But in totality, the pros department has 125 pages on the website, which is substantial. So it takes a lot of bodies to help. Most recently, we are using a platform along with the communications department called Site Improve. This gives us an overlook of everything that our website is pretty much doing or not doing, right? Do we have broken links? Do we have misspellings? Are we being cognizant of ADA compliance measures? As we know, we have a time frame on ensuring all of our collateral are ADA compliant. And then also just looking at ensuring, say, the terminology and the verbiage used is the correct reading level or it's comprehensive. So for overall advertising for pros, we do quite a few publications, such as the Visitor Aurora Annual Guide, and then, like I mentioned, the APS Peach Jar distribution. So these are a couple of the ones. As I noted, we do produce some of the larger Aurora special events that you can see there. And then also this was the Visitor Aurora Annual Guide ad, so featured the reservoirs, the golf courses, and the nature centers, most notably. Some other ones, we have the Explore Your Parks Recreation Open Space. So this one breaks down each division. It even breaks down cooking classes or sports programs, other recreation programming, outdoor recreation, and even summer camps. So this one has different bullet points that just talk about each of those divisions and the opportunities year-round that you can partake in to enjoy your parks and recreation. Another one is Enjoy Summer with Us. Obviously, summer is here and it's our busiest season. So our outdoor pools and spray grounds, reservoirs and swim beach, nature centers, and then also our special events and day camps. And these two are also sent via the APS Peach Jar as well. So for our division, again, we're kind of the in-house advertising marketing group for all of the department and all of the other divisions. So for instance, for Forestry and Parks O&M, we talk about free mulch and freeloader days. We appear on Mayor Mike Live, or John Wazlowski actually appeared on Mayor Mike Live most recently. We have also started the feature of Park of the Month on social media. So we've called out some different parks. Homestead was, I believe, in May. So there you go. Shout out to Councilmember Sundberg. And then free mulch, and then also our Arbor Day proclamation. For open space and natural resources, Osborne Division, we assist with the marketing of our nature centers. These include, again, another park spotlight, which is Plains Conservation Center, and then also just going to various programs and taking pictures. We also participated with the Earth Day celebration at the Aurora Reservoir as well. And then for reservoirs, this is our campaign for this year. So just kind of putting a spin on how you can enjoy the reservoirs year round. We talk about shoulder season. Obviously the summer is most popular, but again, landlocked is just a word, or good trails take you good places, rent the kayak, own the fun, kind of talking about the annual passes that you can buy that are good for both Aurora and Quincy reservoirs. Summer camps. So we put together the summer camp guide and also distribute endless amount of collateral. These summer camps, or this collateral, does also include Aurora water camps and library and cultural services camps. So that is all available at auroragov.org/day camps. We published this to Issue, which is our platform. It's about 21 pages, and when we put this presentation together, it was almost 2,400 reads. Recreation. So we do a lot for recreation as far as marketing goes and their collateral pieces. A few of them are here. Obviously, they are a larger division, so 20 programming accounts. We put together things such as pass brochures, or over here, finding your superpower, making a splash, and things like that, along with different communication pieces as initiatives come up, such as spring break youth days, or even the winter break fun that we recently had. Last year, we did something with APS employees to enjoy. And then, as we know, tennis and pickleball are very popular right now. And so even doing some collateral pieces around where you can find out where to play pickleball. And then, as y'all are familiar, we have the program guide. So it is now called Parks Recreation Open Space Programming Guide, kind of switched from Recreation Guide. It does include recreation and then also our Osborne Division. It averages about 63 pages. Again, it's quarterly. We're currently working on the fall guide right now. It is also available on Issue. So the summer guide stats, again, at the time of this presentation, we had over 5,800 reads, over 7,000 impressions, about 8 minutes of average read time, 62% reading on a phone, and 38% on desktop. Our top sections were aquatics, youth sports, youth programming, and ACA crafts. So we're currently looking at, kind of the evolution of the guide. And so some of those include QR codes. So posters at facilities with those QR codes, you can walk right up, download it to your phone, or you can even download it to your computer as well. We did start hyperlinks in the summer. So there were 517 total on those over 63 pages. So what that is when you're scrolling through and you're really interested in those swim lessons, you can click right then and there, and it goes to our Perfect Mind, or it's now called Explorer, registration platform. So you can just seamlessly go ahead and register for whatever hobby or interest you might have when you're scrolling through. And then, as I mentioned, one of our marketers is solely in charge of marketing the golf division. That's Kaylo, and so she does the premier card. She does numerous collateral pieces. Even the bottom photos, the photos at the bottom are from the annual golf calendar that she produces. She's also over the social media, hotel brochures, the Aurora partnerships, and the Golf Expo. And here is the Golf Expo. So it was back in person in 2022 at the Denver Convention Center. Attendance was about 8,000, and she sold just over 10,000 in premier cards, which is actually really great for the weekend and having her booth there. She does love having hawk quests, so the Birds of Prey exhibit. Obviously, if you walk past and you kind of do a double take of a bald eagle, you're most likely to stop. So she does really well with that. And then we have our planning, design, and construction team, or division. And I'm actually going to switch over to one of our employees. So again, with Sasaki and the master plan, and then also just initiatives for continuing to seek and solicit engagement and also just public input, we actually brought aboard a community engagement coordinator for our division. And so she most notably works with this division, planning, design, and construction, as you can imagine. So I'm going to ask her if she can speak up and finish this presentation. Her name is Sarah Van Holbeck.
Thanks, Erin. Hello, everyone. So as Erin mentioned, we have a lot of stuff going on right now in PROS and in PD&C. So earlier this year, we gave the PD&C website a little bit of an overhaul and a makeover, just to make it a little more colorful and user-friendly and really try to attract people to explore what everything PD&C does. In that banner at the top there, Something Fun is Coming, is actually a banner that we'll have out at construction sites, again, to try to attract people to explore PD&C and really see what that division does for the community. And also online, we currently have 2 active Engage Aurora pages, soliciting feedback from the community on a few different projects. The big one that's really active right now is Skills Area Naming Survey, which I'll touch on in a little bit. And we also have an Engage page for the proposed park site at Central Recreation Center. And that one's kind of in the planning phases right now, but I'll touch on that in a minute too. Next slide, Erin. So as I said, it's been a busy summer so far. We have a lot of exciting things happening. We hosted 2 grand openings this month alone for Park Lane Pool in Canterbury Park. They were a ton of fun. The community loved them. I'll share some pictures in just a moment. Our Hoffman Park is actually nearing completion. They had a renovated playground and a resurfaced basketball court. And students from South Middle School actually donated the 2 backboards for that basketball court. So there's our photo with the students and Brooke in May. So a huge thank you to them for their support. And we hope to have a community celebration for that park in the near future. And then we are in the master plan refinement phase for the park site at Central Rec Center. The consultants and our staff are working together to revise the plan based on prior feedback. And in the near future, we'll be hosting another community meeting to gather more feedback for further revision to make sure that park meets the community's vision. An upcoming project that's kind of early in the process right now, but coming soon, is a basketball court at Utah Park. So we will likely have an update on that in the near future as well. And then, as I mentioned, we're currently collecting feedback regarding the naming of Skills Area to El Salvador Park. So next slide, Erin. So these are just some fun photos from our recent grand openings. As I said, Canterbury Park and Park Lane Pool were both earlier this month in June. We had a great turnout from the community. We had free ice cream, free lunch at Park Lane, and just a lot of fun. Park Lane was at capacity at the end when the event was over. So great turnout from the community. And everybody, we got so much great feedback from all the new amenities. So really happy with how those turned out. And then coming soon, the Southeast Recreation Center grand opening early next year. We'll start planning soon and have more information for everyone soon on that. So as I mentioned, the Skills Area Naming Survey is our big project, active project right now. Of course, we have lots of other things going on too, but right now we're actively collecting feedback for this one. So a little bit of history about the project. It is in celebration of the city's relationship with the country of El Salvador. The Office of International and Immigrant Affairs, PROS, the Consulate of El Salvador, and SARCO have proposed to name Skills Area, which is a special use park on Hampton, to be named El Salvador Park. So El Salvador Park has the 3rd largest foreign-born demographic in Aurora. And in 2017, they opened their consulate here in the city, which is the first to be in Colorado outside of Denver. So that's exciting. And as I mentioned, it's a special use park that has 4 practice soccer fields for local players to practice soccer at. And with the importance of soccer in the Salvadoran culture, this seemed like a perfect place to have this name. So we currently have 2 active Engage Aurora pages with the survey open through June 30th. We have Skills Area, which is in English and then park in Spanish. So we're trying to reach as many users as we can. We've been doing a lot of pushes for this survey on PRO's channels, the city channels, and the Office of International and Immigrant Affairs, social media, newsletters, website, as many places as we can. We also have yard signs. You can see on the fence there in that picture, some yard signs at Skills area, as well as 5 nearby parks with the QR code that goes to those surveys, trying to really engage people who actively use our systems, our sites as well. We share this information with neighborhood associations within a mile of the park, and shared it with related contacts as well. And we have been doing some active outreach to collect in-person surveys at the park. And I'll actually be going out there later today to do some more. So that is where we are at with the Skills Area Naming Survey. As I said, it will be open through June 30th. So we're actively collecting as much feedback as we can from the community through the end of the month.
Are there any questions or comments for our division?
Councilmember Sundberg?
Okay.
Aaron and Sarah and your team, great job. It seems like you're doing some really creative things. I just had one question about social media promotion. Do you have a budget where you spend extra to boost certain things?
Yes, so depending on the campaign or depending on which division is wanting the boosted social media, we do have some advertising budget. So yes, that is an outlet that we like to use as well.
Okay, yeah, great job, guys.
Thanks.
Yeah, my question is just around on the website and the brochure, is there capability for people to access in a different language?
Yeah, so in the past we have translated it into Spanish. We haven't translated it into the top 5 languages, again, spoken in the city. But that could be something that we could explore further with our translation services.
Okay, thank you. Nope, good job and keep the work up. Thank you.
Thanks. Anyone else?
Everybody's good. Let's see where we are agenda wise. All right. We're down to the end here. Miscellaneous matters for consideration.
Chair Medina.
Yes, go ahead.
Thank you. It's more of just a brief update on the presentation that we had provided you. One of the last meetings where we talked about the Youth Connections Group idea, and this was providing free recreation center access to 13 to 19-year-olds, during the summer break. We are still working on recruiting staff. So we did have 4 applications. Those 4 people were interviewed and unfortunately didn't qualify for the position. And so we're going back out, reposting, and continuing to look for staff for that position. Unfortunately, we were hopeful that we would be opening the latter half of June, and the fact that we're challenged with getting qualified applicants is going to slow us down just a little bit. So we're still hopeful, and we'll continue to work on that and regroup and see how we can attract some applicants for that, those roles, to get those centers open. So that's going on. And then also of interest has been the eSports Hub at Expo Community Center. The equipment's been ordered. The data drops are in. We're just waiting on the equipment. I don't believe we'll see a delay in that. So I'm hopeful that they'll end near the end of the summer break, that we'll have that open. And again, we were hoping to have like Fridays free for the kids over there. So we're a little delayed in a few things, but we continue to work on it. So just wanted to give you that update. And then with regard to next month, for this meeting, we'll have 2 memorial items that will be coming forward. The Korean War Memorial, that group is ready to share their concessionaires agreement and their vision and start moving that project forward. They tell us they have their funding, and so we're planning to start that and bring that forward. And at the same time, Rick Crandall and the Freedom Memorial, they have a new vision on what they want to do out there at Spring Hill Park. And so we'll be bringing that item forward as well. And so it'll be more memorials, primarily in July. And then once we have all the information pulled together on the soccer skills renaming effort that you heard Sarah discuss, we'll bring that information forward as well with depending on the public input, a recommendation to rename that. And then that actually requires full council approval. So it starts with you all. And I think that's it. We may have a couple other miscellaneous items, but it should be a full schedule.
Any other staff, council member?
No, thank you.
All right, well, we'll get out a little early, it looks like, so give back some of your time. So thank you everyone for coming to the meeting and great information, and keep up the great work. We appreciate it. Thank you all.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you all.
Hi, Brooke. Oh, Brooke left already. I'll call her. Thanks, Adrian. You have a great day.
But I'll send you the recording once it comes through.
You're the best, Adrian. I appreciate you. I feel like it's always 35 emails for me. Like, add this person, that one. Oh, shoot, I forgot to ask. I didn't even think about it.